All right, so this is going to be session number 21. I'm going to put us back onto the Mermaid's Purse scene. Actually, no, I'm sorry, the Flying Squid scene. And looking over our session notes, in the last session, after dealing with the denizens of the Mermaid's Purse, the Hydroloth Onero entered the tavern along with his sea hag girlfriend, Sister Scumbucket. The party managed to convince Onero to part with the Sultan's memory, and Chimera drank it. Chimera secretly relayed the information of the memory to Sif through telepathy. She then let Onero steal the memory back from her, causing her immense pain and also mental weakness. With the memory in hand, the party relayed the information to Sultan Klaptikos, who used his magic to teleport them to the location of his ship, one of the islands of the Whalebones. Once there, the party saw a normal but abandoned ship being plundered unsuccessfully by a band of barbarians, who immediately attacked the party. After subduing the barbarians, their leader Oslog surrendered herself and offered to assist the warriors in exchange for her life and her familial spear, which was returned to her by Sif. The party investigated the ship and discovered it was covered with some kind of illusion magic. The Sultan dispelled the magic, revealing the true form of the ship beneath. And I'll take you to that ship now. Okay. So a couple of notes about the ship really quickly. Actually, no, before I do that, does anybody have anything to add to those notes? Anything that I missed that I think is particularly important?
I don't think so. We brought back Scuttles, but I think it was in the notes.
Gotcha.
I do want to identify the little vial I stole from the guard.
Sure, do you have the identify spell?
I do not.
Okay.
Thought someone had it. I guess not.
I'm not sure if any of you do. I think you've been taking it in to get identified for now.
Does the Sultan have it?
He does not.
Oh, we can wait until we're back in town.
Okay. All right, and let me put... I'm not sure if you guys want Oslog on the ship just yet. We don't have to physically be on the ship, but I'm just showing you the ship for now. I'll give you a couple of details about it. First big thing, it is a sailing ship, so it has a lot of the same stats of a sailing ship, but it is physically weaker. It has 2/3 the hit points of a sailing ship, 200 instead of 300. On top of that, it is twice the speed of a sailing ship. One of the big strengths of it, besides its speed, is that it only requires a crew of 5 to operate, but it can only house a crew of 5. That being said, it can carry a number of passengers in total. This does not include the crew. So it can have up to 20 passengers, not including the crew, comfortably on this ship. Now, the passengers might not be sleeping in nice bunks or anything. They might just sleep in the hold or something, but any more than that, and it becomes like a problem for the ship. You can carry some cargo if you guys want to do cargo stuff with it. And I was incorrect, it does have 2 weapons already attached to it, which are located in these 2 positions here and here. These are not ballista, they are Scorpio. And a Scorpio is basically a smaller ballista. Instead of doing 3d10 damage, it deals 2d10, and it has a shorter range. But the benefits of them are they can fire in 360 degrees, no problem, and they... I don't think you need to spend an action to aim them. You can just target, fire, and then spend an action to reload. So
These mechanical things, anything cool, or is just that's what makes it go faster?
So there are
gear.
Sultan Kleptikos points out some of this information to you, but before I get to that, let's do a ready check. Bianca, you are currently away from your computer, so I'm just going to assume you can't ready. All right, so yes, another tidbit about the Ship itself, the way it moves is not necessarily through the sails, but rather through this powerful engine that it has. It is there's a description for it. I'll pull that up now. The description for the ship is it is powered by a gyroscopic adamantine prison into which a water elemental has to be bound in a not too dissimilar way to how the fire elemental was bound to the forge in the mines of Baranzo many sessions ago. Sultan Klaptikos tells you that without the elemental, there's no way to power the ship, and thus no way to propel it. He has the ability to summon a water elemental, but he will need assistance in order to successfully bind it to the engine itself.
Yeah. And what form would that assistance take?
He describes the
Can you convince it?
process. It kind of, those of you who aren't trained in Arcana, kind of goes over your head, but essentially, mechanically, you have to make a DC 20 Arcana test. And you get 3 attempts to try before his spell breaks and the water elemental attacks your crew. And if you critically fail, it counts as 2 failures.
I can't really assist with the arcane stuff, but I'll give a hand with whatever I can, I guess.
I could help out with the arcane.
I mean, if we don't summon this thing, this boat doesn't move, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not my strong suit, Arcana, so, but I'm around to help too.
There's a bunch of dummies.
I think the only person here who might be trained in Arcana is Chimera.
A
Yes.
-1 int.
Mhm.
Oh, she's here.
Yeah, I am here.
And yes, Chimera gets a mighty +2 to the check.
But she's like a slick kid, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
What?
Chimera.
Oh yeah.
Currently, your intelligence and your wisdom are 5.
Oh yeah, so we need to sleep.
Yeah. So he can summon the thing, but he needs us to make the checks.
Yes.
I think we should sleep.
Yeah, he needs to
God.
summon
Yeah,
the
should
thing,
we
so
take a long
then
rest?
he needs to concentrate on it while you bind it to the ship itself.
Ooh, babe, the scream truck is outside. Did you order ice cream?
Yeah. I got
Cool.
you an ice cream truck. Go for it. Run after it right now.
I'm so
Ah, the
excited.
surprise is ruined.
Could order ice cream from the ice cream truck.
Yeah, they have
don't-
this thing called the
Uber cream.
Scream truck that I'm pretty sure I've seen it online. You can set up for it to come to a location. But you have
It's
to
not there.
pay a minimum amount, and then
That makes
you have
sense.
to buy the ice cream when it
Hmm.
arrives. So people
That's
set it up
right
for
there.
kids parties and stuff like that. It's called the
Nice.
I Scream.
So what the hell are you ordering? Like 2 sundaes? Banana splits?
Yeah, what did you order, babe? They're
Is
not
it-
coming
Just
to
really-
our house.
Really seductively ordered a couple banana splits over the phone.
Your largest bananas, please.
Yeah, the person on the phone is like, "Sir, are you licking your lips?"
Maybe.
Just extra cream.
All right, so really quickly, I want to get a gauge of what you guys want to do next, because things are kind of open for you, and also
Can
I
we see
think
the map?
yeah, I'm going to pull that up right now. Also, to sort of get yourselves reacclimated to the story as a whole and what your current plans and thoughts are now that you have completed this quest and received your ship.
Okay.
You can see your other ship here, the Voyage. I believe
We
you
have
have
2 ships in Waterdeep, right?
you do. You have 2 ships. I forget the name of the other one, but they're both at Waterdeep.
Did we not send people up north. Where I thought we sent people to go somewhere.
Let me see if I have any notes about that. I know we talked about it. I don't know if we actually ever did it. I think we decided not to do that because us going to this plane was like an out of the time loop thing. So we would probably show up back right as they left, which makes kind of no sense. But I think we might have done that anyway. So
I thought it was like we sent them out and we could I mean, we didn't reappear where they were, but we could if we wanted to.
Yes. So he has the ability to teleport people to places that he has been to. So since he's been to the Whalebones, he was able to not really teleport, but use the what's the name of the spell? Assault.
Plane shift or
Yeah,
something.
plane shift, exactly. Is that it?
Yep,
plane shift. So he was able to plane shift into one plane. The difficulty of this is he has to go to that plane, like basically leave the current plane you're in, and then teleport back into the plane in order to get to a different location.
And then I'm sorry, we're taking a rest soon, right? Like it's near nighttime. What time
No,
is it?
it's only because so you guys left basically like in the middle of the day, if I recall correctly, and it's still middle of the day. It's been maybe a few minutes at most since
Oh,
you
jeez.
guys left.
Okay.
pretty funny. What was? I thought we went to this wreck of the Golden Crown.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been there.
That was at the beginning.
So this is just like a place of interest and overall, not like a quest marker. Because I think the guy was there, right? And he gave us that overall objective to find those 3 things. And this is just where he is, I assume, because he couldn't leave the boat.
Exactly.
Yeah, Hawk Mirage, and we're looking for Ramesith at Baldur's Gate.
I do think, I was gonna suggest heading south in some way or another. Of like, I don't really remember what the Oracle. That's the funeral we went to, right? And this is who has power now or something. I don't know. That really powerful mother died.
Yeah. Mother Elevar.
Let me pull up the quest.
Well, speaking of mothers,
See.
we're pretty close to Maelstrom, which is where my mother resides.
What's your mother doing? Have you talked about your mom?
No, but she's a very powerful. Yeah, we talked about her a long time ago. I think that was like at the beginning of the game. She's a powerful storm giant.
I think you're looking for your father, right?
Yeah. And I haven't seen my mother in like years. It's been a long time. She and the storm giants could be a good resource too. I don't know if they know what's going on in these deep seas with all the pirates and the weird things that are happening around, but
Definitely
that
going to
could
be
always
involved in
be.
some way.
Yeah.
Where's the maelstrom?
Where is that baby?
Maelstrom is right
In the
I
depths
see.
of the
Ooh.
ocean.
And the whale bones being location of interest was just what we did already.
That's
I think there was
just
something else here.
the location of interest was. I believe somebody pointed out the whalebones to you guys as a potential place to go because of the strange history behind it. Let's see. I'll pull up the information on the whalebones.
I think we also there's like those guys in the purple. I think they were in the purple. They were like heading there on a boat.
Oh, that cult.
Yeah. And maybe something with lycanthropes. I don't remember.
See, that would be related to. Another second, so I can pull up the quests. So this quest down here was the characters are sought out by the priestess of the High Moonlight. They meet with Melissa. She asks them to investigate a trio of were sharks who recently left the Silver Stars.
Okay, that's Des then.
lycanthropes who serve Saloon. Rumor has it they were recruited by a pirate crew out of Pandira of the Koran archipelago. If the characters return, having convinced the Weresharks to return, it would be a boon to Saloon's army. And she offered to give you money for information, and even more so if you can return with the Weresharks.
I think the first thing we should do is head back to Waterdeep and unite with our fleet. Because now that we're back on regular time, us sending them places actually makes sense. So I don't know where we'd send them.
Well, yeah. I don't really. I wouldn't mind stopping off in the Maelstrom. I have no love for the Church of Saloon, as I think the party knows. So I wouldn't care ignoring that. I know some other people might want to go there, and I think you and I, Sif, do want to get to the Cloakwood at some point, but it seems like they may be still like a fair amount, a fair time
Yeah, I
away
think like
from
they
there.
kind of sort of just left like today.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I do want to get down south. I want to get to Baldur's Gate and then I want to go to the Cloakwood. There's a lot of things to do. I don't want to forget about Ore Lumber, which is where there's like the shipwright with the bubble.
Mm-hmm. And then who
Does Kai know if we can even get to the Maelstrom without that technology? Like, how do we get there?
It's a real rough ride, you guys. Uh, yeah, you either need like a storm giant to like pull you down to the depths of the ocean, or yeah, or it's like a giant what is it called? Like not tornado, babe.
A
Maelstrom,
whirlpool.
perhaps?
Whirlpool? Yeah,
Whirlpool, yeah, whirlpool that like we can try our luck in, but I also don't want to destroy the Sultan's ship. So it's pretty risky.
Yeah, we have
That
our
may,
nice new ship.
that may be
Not
a good place
guaranteed. Yeah.
to go after we get the bubble.
Yeah.
somehow. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind heading back to Waterdeep and then heading south, and maybe we can send one of the ships up north to investigate Luskan.
Luskan is doesn't Layrel Silverhand is the leader of Waterdeep. Is that right?
Let me pull up that quest again, so I have all the information for you guys.
We're just delivering a message.
Let's see. Laryl Silverhand is the leader of Waterdeep. She wants you to visit Luskan. She believes the city of Zales must know more about the increased piracy. She gives your characters the Lord's Alliance emblem, and she asks you to present that emblem to the High Captains of Luskan to gain an audience.
And traveling along the coast is safer for us as well as our other ships, right? Like if we send them out in a crew, as opposed to like sailing directly across open water.
So it's not necessarily more safe because the way the ship has to sail is going to be like a little bit further out from the shore regardless. And what happens is I roll on a series of charts that determines what happens to those ships when you're not on them. So like maybe they get boarded at some point. Maybe do they get boarded? Do they manage to fight them off? What's their crew rating versus the enemy's crew rating and stuff like that? So I roll all that stuff. I figure that out. Depending on what you guys do with the ships, what kind of crew you have, what kind of weaponry the ships have, the ships themselves, they'll have a particular crew level, and that's how everything kind of gets sorted out on that scale. all that stuff, you won't have to worry about it. I'm not going to make you look at like crew ratings and stuff like that. You just tell me in character, like, I think it would be cool if we got more weapons on this ship, or if we upgraded the armor on it. And then how long it takes is going to be dependent on how fast the ship is. So again, I figured that stuff out for you. We'll plan all that stuff out ahead of time. So if you're like, hey, we want to get them to Luskin, and we know that ship travels 3 hexes per day, we would go, it would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. It's 25 hexes. That would take 8, give or take 1 extra day, days of travel for that ship to get there. And then they have to spend some time discussing things.
And if you wanted to make a pit stop in Neverwinter, I think Chimera and I both have stuff to to really consider there.
Well, I think Chimera's stuff, I believe, Bianca, correct me if I'm wrong, that leads primarily to Baldur's Gate.
Oh, because her father, we had this suspicion about her father connected to my father, who possibly like saved him on his boat.
Yeah, I mean, my speculation is that like I personally, aside from that quest, like have a lot to do in Baldur's Gate and in the Cloakwood Forest. And my hunch is, like, knowing my father, is that if he has your dad, last time I checked, my father was in Baldur's Gate. So your father would be close by. I don't think, like, Chimera would know, like, if her father, like, took leave and went somewhere as far as Neverwinter, right? Or it would even be canon that, like, I went with him on the journey at the beginning of the campaign if he was also headed in that direction.
Right, I think that's where we agreed on. But that sounds good. That sounds, if that's where you think they are, then I think Sethir would definitely follow. Plus,
I know I
we have
sent,
the other stuff in Baldur's Gate as well.
yeah, I sent a letter to him before the Sahuagin attacked Waterdeep. So maybe, like, best case scenario, when we get back to Waterdeep to meet up with everyone, I might even get a follow-up letter so we'll know exactly where he is.
Uh-oh. Some squeaking
Whose
going on.
squeaky toy is
Oh.
that?
Oh my god, you heard my dog Squeaky Toy. She's like playing in the other room. I'm gonna mute myself.
That's adorable. No, please don't.
Squeaky toy.
Okay, so it kind of sounds like you guys want to go from the Whalebones to Waterdeep first. And then your group will eventually travel south towards Baldur's Gate. And then another group I'll put in green.
The benefit of our current ship is the speed, so going alone makes the most sense, because if we go with other ships, we'll have to match their speed, and then we'll just be just as slow. It's not the worst
Yeah.
thing ever, but our bonus for this is the speed of it.
If we send 2 ships together, would they have like a bonus of
Yeah.
their?
You basically you combine. So obviously more ships will be safer than one.
So what we
You-
could do too is, like, we have those 2 ships, so if we want to send them to Luskin, it's like a winery place. So maybe we just load the ship up with like furs, and then like we sell them when we get there, and then with some of the money we're gonna make, we just hire some security for the ships,
So now
like
you're
an escort.
now you're fucking talking.
Yeah.
So we like
Ooh,
get
do
some
we
kind of
have
contract
furs?
from some of the Chimera knows nobles in the town. Maybe we can get some kind of bulk furs, and then just be like, hey, we're gonna be setting up these 2 well-armed ships. They're definitely gonna make it. We'll make a killing. So give us some money up front or something like that, and then we'll hire some security for the ships. Might as well make some money if they're going there.
Yeah, I like that.
Alright, so does this plan of attack make sense for you guys? Yellow is you. Your group goes from the Whalebones to Waterdeep and eventually travels southwards either to Orlembor or to Baldur's Gate, whichever works best for you, and you send another ship or two up to Luskan.
Yeah, I don't think I want to split up into 3 groups. It's just like spreading ourselves too thin. So just 2 groups for now seems solid.
Okay.
Us and them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
You
will
guys
say
wanna
this:
split up?
if there is a significant difference in the ratings of the groups that are going, like I don't know, let's say you have 2 ships that are worth 100 each, so that's 200 in total. Ships that are under a certain threshold, they just won't even fuck with them. It's not going to happen. They're like, it's too big of a deal. So traveling with 2 automatically bypasses a lot of problems depending on how safe the area is. And you guys can collect information on which areas are more safe than others in order to get a better idea of like, okay, if we're going to go south, we should send a fleet of ships because shit's going to really be fucking crazy down there.
Yeah, or maybe it's even better for us going down there by ourselves because we're more maneuverable. As long as we're like keeping up on our watch, we shouldn't get jumped. But then again, we might get jumped from something under the ocean.
It's true.
But they would need to put a barrier to stop us. Otherwise, we're too fast, I believe.
Yeah, if we see him coming. Anything can happen.
All right, so let's just head to Waterdeep first, and then we'll
Yeah.
figure it out from there.
Let's turn our fleet into passive income.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. Let's enter it into a boat race, and then we could just use our warship.
That's not passive income. Matt doesn't know what passive income
That is
is.
very active income.
We'll hire a crew to maintain it, and they just win boat races after boat races. And
Yeah,
we're
you can-
making passive
We can
income.
trade things. It's kind of what built nations, not like a series of boat races.
Yeah, I like this idea of fantasy boat races. Like everybody's just having boat
Yeah.
races around in Waterdeep and Neverwinter.
I like the idea. It's like Twisted Metal, but on the ocean.
Yeah.
That happens in real life. People, especially around Italy, they have boat races.
Okay, so let's see. All right, so first of all of you can feel free to take a long rest.
Yes.
At the end of your long rest, Bianca, you can go ahead and make a. Let me pull it up. Just 1 second. How much of a saving throw this steel memory is? The DC 16 intelligence saving throw.
Can I cast Sending to Una also, just real quick? Just ask for any. I know they left very recently, but has she heard anything more? Basically, 25 words or less response.
25 words or less response. It's only been so for her. She left earlier today, right? She left in the morning. So in total, there's been like even after the long rest, it's been maybe a 12-hour difference. So she responds back. There are no new developments. They are traveling. It is slow because they have a large group of warriors and priestesses of Umberly with them.
Okay.
Okay, Bianca, you have failed your intelligence saving throw. Would you like to
Oh
use?
no!
This thing's gonna stick around for a while. It's 16.
Would you like to use your point of inspiration?
Yeah.
Come on.
This is my worst stat right now.
Oh,
Oh, she got it.
Nice.
Oh my god.
All right, so you are, as you rest, your senses slowly return to you. You have a horrible splitting headache. You don't quite remember what happened the day before, but there's like sand in your boots. You're covered in weird marks, like your hands and nails are all kind of jacked up from doing something physical. But regardless of that, the negative effects of the stolen memory are gone from you. You also you have no recollection of your memory being taken from you. You vaguely remember the giving it up willingly, but after that point, you don't remember the actual person going through the action of taking the memory, and you have no idea what the memory was or what it was about.
Do I know where I am because we're on a brand new ship?
It's like you've woken up and you have no clue what has happened since you lost that memory and right now.
Then I am waking up frightened and confused. I would say the rest of the party would hear like a where am I?
Oh, thank God you're back.
Oh my God. What's going on?
You spent
Why
the
you-
past couple hours playing around in the water.
Yeah, I don't know if you would believe us if we told you what you actually did.
Yeah, you maintained yourself with dignity.
Are you
You-
sure?
If you can call it that.
Could I tell if Sif is being sarcastic or not?
Give me an insight test.
Okay.
Sif, what level is the insight test?
DC
Doesn't
5.
matter.
DC 5.
You might not have been fully dignified through the whole experience.
Oh God. I just have my hands in my head and I'm on like the side of like the cot or whatever I just woke up from. You know what? I want to say that like Chimera was so stupid that she did not even sleep in the cot. Like she's on the floor, like in like a potato sack or something. And she's just on the floor, hands in head, like, oh God, I need a shower.
All
Oh my
right.
God.
So all of you, you take your long rests. You get yourselves
Good to have you
acclimated
back.
to the new ship. The amenities of the ship are far superior in almost every way to the ship that you are used to. Those were human constructed ships. This was clearly designed and crafted by some kind of higher order being. The materials are they're clearly like wood and bound together with almost seamless accuracy. Like you don't see any wood joins. You just see like wood flowing into wood, almost like it was fused together in some unnatural way. But it makes it look elegant and beautiful. The Sultan Kleptikos, he says to you that the ship was originally called the Flying Squid, but of course, you being not only his friends but also his new masters, you have free reign to change the name of the ship if you prefer.
Did he pick that name?
He says the name of the ship. He won the game, the ship itself, in a game of chance, and that was the name when he received it. So he is not particularly. He isn't attached to the name in any way.
Well, you've already proven to be a great ally to us that if it's okay with everybody else, I think we should give you the honor of naming the ship, if you'd like.
He looks around to the rest of you.
Here's what you'd pick for a name.
You mean this vessel? Well, I figure it could be a good group discussion, couldn't it?
Do you have a name in mind?
Oh, just give me 1 second and I'll think of something great.
He recommends the name Wavebreaker.
Sounds good to me.
The Wave Raker it is.
Well, what did Matt? What did your character have in mind?
Oh, I'm still thinking. I can't figure it out.
But the mermaid's purse, we got it from there, kind of, sort of.
For now,
the sails look like wings, right?
yeah, I'll take you guys to it.
Dragonfly.
Flutter wave.
Is that the name of a pony from My Little Pony?
I have no idea.
Apple Jacks.
I kind of like Apple Jacks.
Applejack's isn't a bad name for a show.
What's the name?
Oh, I like about it's Flutter.
A water spider?
You want to call it the water spider?
No.
What are those little bugs that fly over like ponds? So they have like long ass wings.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Dragonflies?
figure out.
Oh.
You mean
No,
a
the ones
pond
that-
skater?
A what?
A pond
Yeah,
skater?
Yeah, the
pond
things that eat
skater.
mosquito.
How about the sea skater?
The sea skater.
Sea skaters.
I like that.
I like that.
The sea skater it is. Is it the sea skater or just sea skater?
Sea
Probably the
skater.
sea skater. Both just gave the exact opposite answer.
It could be Dust Ski Skater.
Elf sea skater.
SS sea skater.
You gotta do it with a R. Das sea skater.
Skater.
So
Sea skater.
for now, you
How
can
about
imagine.
just as sea skater on it, but you can call it whatever you want.
Alright, we'll just keep it there for now. We'll let you guys figure that out later. It's a tentative name. Maybe in the very last episode, your group will finally come together and name the ship.
We'll just change the name to something else.
And
Or
then,
argue over
yeah.
like this and that, and then just totally change it.
then in season 2, episode 4, the ship will get destroyed anyway.
You know, give us some time, and I'm sure our experience with it, we'll figure something out.
How about the hydro sloth? Maybe I think it's slow and then we speed away. It's perfect crime.
It's like a mouthful.
I actually like that for like a race. Come on,
Hydro
John,
Sloth
think of a
Cup?
racing boat scheme in the background.
Can we just play Mario Kart instead of this game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, we do plan to get the new Mario Party whenever that comes out.
They dropped the
And-
numbering.
Yeah, now it's
Why they did
just Jamboree. And I think it can have up to 20 players at once.
You can torture that many more people. at
That
the
many
same time.
people at the same time.
What are you playing it on?
A Switch?
Gotta be on Switch.
Ooh, and we can all go online and do it together, right?
Exactly.
I'm gonna burst your bubble now. I'm not sure how up I am to do a full 50 game, or maybe we could do like a less turns or something.
I don't like
the game
50
is long.
turns. Like, I think 30
could
turns
just
is
do the
my
battles.
maximum. Yeah, Nina and
a while since
Emma,
I've done Mario
they
Party.
love Mario Party. Like, I think the last
we-
one, they went through every mode and like go through all the mini games and master them and stuff like that. They go to town on that.
Mario
Yeah,
Party
what-
is incredible. Why did we start talking about it? What? Sorry, I
It's,
stepped
uh,
away. for a
Jamboree.
second.
Reasons.
Yeah,
Mm.
because Devin brought up, well, these guys brought up racing, and then Devin brought up Mario Kart, and then I brought up the fact that we're gonna get the new Mario Party when it comes out.
Nice.
Okay, so your group awakens the next morning, refreshed. You have all of your abilities back. You've taken your long rest. Whenever you are ready, Sultan Kleptico says that he can begin the ritual required to, or it's not a ritual. He has to just cast the spell. The spell to summon the elemental. And he says once he summons it, he will have to focus on preventing it from taking any actions, and so he will have to just sit there and concentrate, and you will need to perform the action of actually arcanely binding it into the gyroscopic cage of the ship.
I think Sif is gonna ask the
Ooh.
Sultan if he has, I guess something like water walking.
I
Like a
have
spell like
water
that.
walking.
He has water walk, yeah.
I don't know how feasible it is for me to touch, like hold a water elemental, but maybe if I had water walkings, it would work a little bit better because it's kind of
No,
gives water a surface.
it only lets you walk on water. It doesn't let you grab water like a surface.
Okay, but I could stand on top of them.
You could stand on top of it.
I was wondering, would it help out if I know the spell Dispel, which I do know?
No. It would only help. No, because you're not dispelling anything. You're magically binding this thing. So you're keeping it around. It's like the opposite of dispelling.
Do you know how big it's gonna be?
It's gonna be about as big as the Sultan.
That's huge.
I don't know how much I can help. It's a water elemental. It's just gonna go wherever it wants.
He looks at you and says, "If it breaks free and tries to kill all of us, well, you could help then."
That's a given. I'll just stand in between it and everybody else and just hope that the magics come together the way they should.
What is it that Chimera needs to do exactly? With the
She would need to perform a series of complex incantations and a sequence of different strange arcana related things. I don't really know how else to describe it. Essentially, she would have to make a DC 20 arcana test. She goes through this complicated arcane process to magically bind it to this. Not necessarily using magic, but more specifically through the mechanisms that are already on the adamantine cage itself.
And I'm sorry. The attributes, right? Like, so this Arcana test has its what it's related to, which is intelligence.
Yeah.
If you have advantage on intelligence checks, that gives you advantage on Arcana, right?
Yes.
It would be if it was an intelligence saving throw that wouldn't give you advantage on Arcana because
Exactly.
saving throw. Okay. All right. I'll cast Enhance Ability, Fox's Cunning on Chimera.
All right. Chimera, you
Wait
go.
a sec. If the Arcana check is through intelligence, that's my lowest stat. Are you sure that I'm the best person to do it?
I also have an 8.
I have
an
a
eight,
plus.
minus
I have a
one.
+1.
That's
am
better.
I the highest with a +1?
I thought maybe
You're
I
so
thought
smart.
I thought Zathir might
Super.
be okay.
Yeah, so did I.
In
For what?
Arcana.
Oh,
Arcana.
I have +2.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're the smartest person here by far.
I am the smartest person. Well, Zathir is the smartest person here by far. That's
I
correct.
guess not by far. You're just a little bit higher than Kai, but the rest of us are
Yeah, we're. I'm gonna cast Enhance Ability on Zathir then.
He goes through the process. He explains it very delicately to you, Zathir. He takes you over to the gyroscopic adamantine prison, and he shows you all these strange runes and buttons and weird mechanisms that you've never seen before. It doesn't seem too dissimilar to some of the runes that you saw in the furnace or the forge of the Mines of Baranzo, where the fire elemental was bound. So you get some familiarity there, but otherwise the more complicated part is the going through of all of these different processes in order to correctly bind it into place. And at any point in time, a slip up or a failure means you're one step closer to this creature getting loose, and you'll have to wait a full day in order to do it again. And so let me let him take a rest. Oh, he's a monster. Monsters can't take rests.
When you say the runes are similar, how similar are we talking?
They're like vaguely similar. If you read some of them, they're like
Does it be like the same language?
arcane runes of binding. Yes, they are written in Draconic.
We don't know who made that furnace on the island, and he won this ship in a bet. It could be linked in some way if someone had some way to master elementals and use them for a whole bunch of shit. It's something to think about.
Do we know who the previous owner is?
Just ask the Sultan who he won it from.
He says he doesn't remember. That must have been part of the memory that was taken from him.
Oh.
In anything that Chimera relayed, was there any person in there? Was there that game a chance? Because she relayed what she saw in that memory.
There was a lot of information in the memory itself. The information that she relayed was primarily related to the location of the ship itself.
Would I? Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
I mean, it could have been he was hired to get that memory for somebody, but it could either be like that person is the one who owned the ship or they're also looking for it. I can't remember who it was. Papadopoulos.
All right, so Sultan Kleptikos looks over at you, Zathir, and asks, "Are you ready?"
I'll give it my best. Let's give it a go.
That's the sound of Zathir when Domo touches him. Zathir, it's like you know that GIF of Zach Galifianakis and like all of the equations and science mumbo jumbo are like flying past him. That's what's happening to Zathir. Suddenly, Zathir is like everything just makes sense. Things seem a little bit more clear to you. Numbers match in and combine in ways that they've never done for you before. The Sultan, he says to you, "Once I begin the process, I cannot stop. Go to the engine and prepare yourself." And the engine is over here somewhere. This
In the event
whole
that something
block.
goes wrong, I'll also head over here.
Yeah, you can position yourselves in the event that something goes wrong. Scuttles is just watching. He teleports over here. By the way, are you allowing Oslog onto the ship?
Sure. We only have one ship.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll give her back her hit points.
She swore in her honor, so let's hope she sticks to that.
It's like a vampire who needs to be invited.
She seems not happy with this strange arcane goings on. She says nothing though. She respects the strength of the group, and so she sits back and averts her eyes. And then the Sultan begins saying an incantation and summons a water elemental. And so from a point out of nowhere, a small bead of water appears, and this bead of water begins to expand into a 10-foot by 10-foot coruscating sphere of moving water, which vaguely takes on a humanoid shape. It immediately turns its gaze to Kleptikos, the person who summoned it, and Kleptikos engages in this seemingly almost like psychic battle with the being itself, forming it and changing its shape with his hands. His eyes close as he is stuck in intense concentration. He begins to form it into a ring of water instead, and begins the process of feeding it into the engine itself. Sathir, you begin the process that he described to you. Go ahead and give me an Arcana test. DC 20.
You got this.
And you have advantage on this.
You should also have +8 or plus 1d8 or 1d4 and 1d4.
So roll 2d4. You're going to get it no matter what. Well, let's see how well you get it. Nice. All right, so with the 25, you, like,
Sweet.
following the pattern to a T, you perform all of the complex mechanical maneuvers and strange arcane rituals in order to successfully bind this water elemental to the engine. You see its form get sucked into this this gyroscope, and it forms like a liquid ring inside of a crystalline toroid. And the water inside of this toroid, you can see, begins glowing a bright blue and moving counterclockwise at a tremendous pace. The force of the water inside of this toroid must be immense, enough to completely destroy, obliterate the ship if it were to be unleashed. But for now, it is contained safely inside of this adamantine vessel, and the ship itself begins to lurch. The Sultan quickly grabs onto the steering wheel of the ship, and he gestures it away from the shoreline into the water itself. And he tells you that he points the ship in the direction of Waterdeep, and he says to you almost proudly, "You might want to hold on to something." He smiles, a great big smile, as the ship engine begins to hum louder and louder and louder. And eventually the ship lurches forward, slowly at first, but then it quickly picks up speed and momentum, heading eastward through the ocean. And you are now sailing at a speed far faster than you've ever sailed on any ship. Easily twice as fast as the fastest vessel you've ever been on. Your hair is blowing back. Your cloaks are billowing in the wind. Some of you have to move quickly to find purchase to hold on before potentially being pulled off through sheer surprise alone at the speed that you are traveling. But you are positively gliding over the water, and as you look down, you see the ship is actually barely even touching the surface of the water. It's not touching it and then falling down like a regular ship would on the waves. It's almost exactly like I described, gliding on top of the water, like
Would
an
you say
ice
skating,
skater.
perhaps?
Exactly. I was just going to say like an ice skater skating on ice.
Well, thank you, Domo. Not quite sure if I would have made it alone.
Zip will head up to the front and stand in the bow as if surfing on the ship. So this is more like it.
He looks over at Kai and says, "You seem to be someone who has experience on the seas. Perhaps you should take the wheel."
My pleasure.
He releases the wheel and he gives you instructions on how to guide the ship, how to control the engine and make it function. It's a multi-person process, however. He says you have to have people working the engine, you have to have people manning the sails, and then of course someone taking care of the steering wheel itself. So your group can go ahead and take your various positions anywhere on the ship that you would like, or you think that you would be best suited. And you, as the 5 members of the crew, Scuttles and Oslog, sort of stay back from it. Oslog has no idea what's going on. Scuttles is like a weird little bug man. He's like just enjoying himself on the water. And the Sultan has his arms crossed, floating above the surface of the boat, just like smiling and relishing the fact that he is finally on this ship again after so many years. And so you begin your voyage, heading east, back towards Waterdeep at a record pace. No one has ever traveled from the Waterbones to Waterdeep this quickly outside of using straight up magic. And just as the Sultan said, you can get to Waterdeep in a breathtaking amount of time. And in fact, over the course of a single 24-hour period, your ship travels 5 different hexes, which is a matter of 120 miles, which for a ship of this magnitude is very impressive. And over the course of that first day, towards the evening, your group, as the sun begins to sort of dip in the horizon, you continue this propelled motion forward. The seas seem calm enough, and the Sultan says to you, "You can feel free to take a rest. Enjoy a meal if you prefer." He waves a hand, and a conjured feast appears on a table at the forefront of the ship itself. "I'll take care of the engines in the ship for now. Drink, eat, be merry. This is my gift to you for returning to me the apple of my eye." And he looks down at his ship, almost lovingly. And so your group has a chance to just sort of relax for the first time in quite a long time. You have nothing to do but wait.
Wow.
As
Take that
as the
opportunity
ship is
for sure.
preparing is continuing its voyage. What do you do?
I don't know. Do we still get to like someone as a lookout?
Sure, if you like.
Does this boat have a what do you call it?
The spyglass.
Like
Crow's nest.
yeah, the crow's nest.
There's unfortunately there's no central mast and there's no crow's nest.
All right. Right then, I'll sit around and have a beer with you guys before I go back outside and take watch.
What am I calling over Aslog to? I imagine they're pretty standoffish, so maybe inviting them to have a drink with us and to take a seat.
Exactly as you described, she's very standoffish. Her arms are crossed, not in a celebratory way, but in a sort of closed-off kind of way. She's just staring off into the distance towards Waterdeep. But as you approach her, she nods, almost as if receiving an order. She comes and she sits down in one of the empty seats at the table there.
You seem very driven by duty.
She says, "I am warrior born. I have been trained since birth to listen to my superiors. Might makes right in my village."
Sif will nod at that. Your family, that sword you carry, has a long past to it, or spear you carry rather.
It is said to have been. It is said to have once been the spear of a mighty human hero. His name has long since been lost to time. It has been in my family for generations. Supposedly, one of my great-great-great-grandfathers before me slew him in battle and took it for himself.
betray's a good weapon. I can't offer you much in the way of friendship. You seem very focused on and what's expected of you and your family name. But what we can offer you, above everything else, is a way to really put your family's name up in the stars and have them be remembered. So if you stick with us and go along with what we're doing, your name will ring out through the heavens. Your family will be held up, and that spear will become a national treasure. For we're on the greatest adventure of our lives.
And I do want to say, even if it isn't fame you are looking for, I imagine you've done a lot to keep yourself alive, and that's all any of us are really trying to do here. But we do it together. So if you help keep us alive, we will do everything we can to keep you alive as well. Because the whalebones are like not a cool place to live, right?
No,
Really-
they're pretty rotten.
Yeah.
It's a pretty like what you know of the barbarian tribes of the whalebones. It is no surprise to you at all that this is how Oslog acts.
Yeah.
They are there's almost no like civilization in the whalebones. There's very little agriculture. It's like the few remaining tribes that live there. It's like hunter gatherer, constant vying for control of particular territories and hunting grounds. And like she mentioned earlier, might makes right. The strongest survive because they have the will to survive. The whalebones themselves are known to be hunting grounds of storm giants, and their massive rock mounts nesting grounds.
They ride rocks.
Yes. RO
Sif is now very interested.
ROC rocks, which are like gigantic,
birds.
colossal birds. Yeah.
Yeah, so if it's not friendship you're looking for, I at least hope to call you comrade.
Why don't you tell us a little about yourself, Oslog? Where do you come from?
She begins telling you the story of the whalebones. She is the daughter of a powerful warrior. Her whole line is of powerful and proud warriors. And that she came into power after slaying the former leader of the warband, who she thought was leading them astray. Had mentioned something about wanting to join up with seafaring pirates, and she didn't see that as a viable path for the future of her tribe. She laments that decision. She does seem like she feels some kind of remorse for the deaths of her warriors at the hands of your group, but then she also discusses that as if it is a fair and also honorable way to move on to the next life.
Glorious battle.
Versatility.
She looks at you confused.
Zetir just will indulge in his beer.
He just walks away.
No, I didn't walk away. I said I indulge in my beer, and kind of like give it off as if I'm just kind of like giggling in my own jokes or whatever in my own head.
So in my head, Zathira goes, versatility.
Well, Zetir is very cool. He wouldn't be like that.
For the first time ever, we see fear on Oslog's face.
Yeah, she's
yeah.
she's thinking to herself, what have I gotten myself into? Who are these people?
Sif will just look at Zathir, nod, and say versatility.
And then Kai walks down and just says, "Honor." Just kidding.
I just look at Oslog and shrug
Yeah.
at the rest of the group.
Indifference.
I know what we said is pretty, like, we just said it quickly and everything. Is there any change at all? Is she like slightly more relaxed or just exact same
Completely stoic.
everything?
You
Okay,
you
that's
think
fine.
it's going to take a lot more to, if it's even possible to do so, a lot more to break through that shell. She gives off almost Klingon vibes, if you know what that means.
We're gonna have to get in some fights then.
Yeah, just wrestle about a little bit, you know.
I don't know. I feel like Zethir is not totally trustworthy, being trusting towards Oslog, so Zethir is going to keep one of his eyes open and keep an eye on this person.
And what is Chimera doing during all this?
I would say Chimera's still very hungover and confused with everything that's going on. So I think she would be taking a step back from talking to anyone. At this moment, she might even be like showering or in a different room.
Okay. All right. So your ship continues moving forward as the food itself, the bountiful feast that was presented before you, it begins slowly fading away as the spell begins to wear off. The Sultan assures you that the food and the drink will remain in your bellies, but this is just part of the spell. It will disappear after a time. The food itself was excellent quality, and the next time you take a long rest, you can all gain 1d8 temporary hit points.
Wow.
But
that's cool.
you'll be able to roll that when you take that long rest.
Cool.
As your group is enjoying yourselves, enjoying the breeze in your hair, I need those of you that are on the top deck, which sounds like. Actually, no. Why don't have the 5 of you give me perception tests?
Oh no.
A lot of good rolls today. Oh, never mind. All right. Sif and Domo, as your ship is being propelled forward, you notice somewhere off to the. It's in front of the ship, slightly off to the right. You notice something glinting in the water in a way that doesn't seem like moonlight on the ocean waves. It looks almost irregular and like a light source, if anything. What do you do?
Is
You
it
got this-
similar to? Didn't we see like merfolk traders? Like they glinted in the water also.
It does seem similar, yes.
We get the Sultan to stop at a distance away and take a look through a spy glass or something. Get a better look. We can just stop the ship on a dime, right?
He does have to slow it down, but yeah, basically, it stops magically. So the only thing that carries it forward, it has no brakes, so it just kind of like comes to a halt.
Reverses.
But he slows the ship down to like a very reasonable pace, and you get a chance to look through. None of you have a spyglass, I believe. They're very expensive.
Wow.
But you do get a chance to sort of explore the waters with your eyes.
Though we had a telescope on the voyage, don't we?
That was on the voyage, yeah.
We're not on the voyage.
And so go ahead and give me, all of you who are looking out to see what this could be, go ahead and give me one more perception test. And you can choose if this is an action that you are partaking in. Yes, it is a DC 16.
Oof.
Can't see shit. I've been boldening bond apparently. I don't think I actually have that on me.
Well, you did, but it's when we did the ritual, which was more than 10 minutes ago, probably.
Okay. I need one more.
Do you want to say
Oh,
you gave?
I gave guidance. Yeah.
Okay, you gave him guidance. So you notice
Well, now I can
that
see.
it is an ever glowing lantern, which is typical of a lot of seafaring vessels, and it is being held aloft by a hand, which is sticking out of the water. And when you get a closer look, and when like you really focus on what it is you're looking for, you put two and two together, and you realize it is actually a shipwreck. And there was a person, a figure, in the water holding up this thing, and you can see four other figures in the water along it, and they're all waving at your boat. And finally, when your ship gets to a close enough distance, still some distance away from them, you can hear the sound of their weak cries for help. They are crying out in Elvish.
Uh, Zetia would say, before we let them on board, of course we have to check to make sure they're clear. If you know what I mean.
Yes, I think we should approach, but we will have a discussion first.
Yeah, sounds good.
Devin, you're kind of breaking
Tried
up
to
a
type
little
in
bit.
Elvish. I think I actually did. Oh, can you hear me? Hello, hello. Yeah, it's like coming in and out.
Did you write in Elvish? Because I can read it totally fine, but I don't see it as Elvish.
I selected
Yeah.
Elvish, but didn't put it in Elvish. Oh, whatever.
That's weird.
Maybe that's broken.
Probably a broken thing.
Yep.
Let me see. What's Rudic say? I could do it.
Mup.
Yeah, it didn't work for me either.
Okay. Well, sorry about that, guys.
I'll just ask the elves what happened here. In Elvish.
One of them yells out in a slightly familiar voice, and he says to you, "Our ship was attacked by pirates. We thought we could fight them off, but we lost. Please, if you're not going to let all of us on, at least let the civilians on."
You said it's a familiar voice?
You put two and two
Familiar to
together.
who?
It's familiar to all of you, because on a long time ago, when you guys first sort of began traveling the high seas, you encountered a boat of sea elves that were hailing from a place called Tir Foishoin. These sea elves knew Kai's father, and they had seen him within the past 9 or so years, but didn't have much more information on this. Their boat was patrolling the seas, defending and gathering information about the pirates. It seems that they have fallen victim to the pirates' attacks.
Well, if that's the case, let's give these folks a hand.
What time of day is it?
Definitely.
It is evening, like let's say 10 p.m. before some of you were getting ready to take another long rest.
Steph is going to agree that we should take these people on board. We're also going to go up to the crow's nest and take a look around because maybe they just capsized the ship and are waiting and wait for some help.
Can we
I'm
There,
gonna
ask
try to
how
look
many
around and
there-
see if we're gonna get jumped.
Can we ask how many of them are there? Because we do have limited capacity.
5 in total.
Oh, okay.
And this ship unfortunately has
We
no.
crammed on here for a little bit.
The ship unfortunately has no crow's nest.
Okay, no, nothing at all.
You're
I
breaking
mean, it
up
wouldn't
again.
need it, would it? Yeah, it's cutting out. Okay.
It has no what crew what?
Crow's Nest.
Crow's Nest.
Right.
All right, so what does your group do?
Let me see if I gotta fix this thing.
I think we gotta let them on.
Yeah,
We
let's.
can like
them up.
investigate them as they come on, make sure that they're not like,
Yeah, keep an eye on them.
So you begin the process of letting them on. They seem tired. You don't know how long they've been drifting in the waters and cold. It is winter after all. The fact that this many of them survived at all is surprising to some of you. But the ship does pull up next to them, and you do allow the first 4 of them on, all civilians. The only one remaining in the water is the captain of that elven ship that you saw so many days ago. He is wearing this metal armor, which immediately, Sif, you pick up on. It must be mithril because it's not weighing him down. He has no weapon. He must have lost it in the water at some time ago. And he decides to go onto the ship after the rest of the civilians have made their way to safety.
Are any
what
of
pirate
you
ship took you guys down?
It was a after they get on and they kind of catch their breath, he says to you, a ship flying a ship that is known to us. It is infamous in these parts. The Devil's Fin. This is also a name that you recall. The Devil's Fin is the
A
ship,
very, very
Yeah.
old ship.
the very first ship that you encountered on the seas, captained by the albino tiefling Captain Callus.
That's right.
Nasty bunch.
They took
Oh,
us.
them fellas again.
He says they took us by surprise. Normally, in an elven ship of like ours, we could have easily outpaced them, but their ship seems to be enchanted in some way. We didn't stand a chance. They fired a salvo of cannon fire into our broadside, and the ship fell to pieces. We are all that's left of 47.
Did they
It's
take
like the
anything, or
ship
they just
came-
wanted to destroy the ship?
They seemed pleased enough to have capsized us. They took nothing.
Was it like they came out of nowhere?
Yes. We have the best scouts and most eagle-eyed of all of the observers in the entire ocean. We have no idea how they crept up on us.
are any of you injured? Do you need any aid at all?
Yeah, you can see that many of them are injured. A lot of them are like in the early onset stages of hypothermia. They're clearly in need of medical aid and blankets and warmth and comfort. Does your character go through the process of tending to them?
Yeah.
Okay. So you go through, you begin this whole thing. You won't have to use any spells or anything, but you do tend to them with traditional medicine.
Could I investigate their crash ship to see if his story matches up?
Give me an investigation check, DC 10. Actually, it's dark outside. You don't have dark vision. Give me a DC 12.
Wah.
And you have guidance, so you can roll an extra D4. Okay. So you look, it's the ship is obliterated, but a few pieces are floating on the surface of the water. The light wood of the exterior of the ship are just shattered remains of what once must have been a beautiful and well-crafted vessel.
Did they seem to be after anything, or were they just attacking you for the sake of attacking you?
They came out of
Vector and
nowhere and
Discord?
left just as swiftly. As far as we know, they took nothing and came for no other purpose than to destroy us.
Well, pirates will be pirates. We're heading to Waterdeep. Do you have any sort of connection there?
Yes, we have allies there. They can set us up with a ship to return us to our home.
Before we leave, is there anything you'd like us to recover from the ship while we're?
I'm afraid there was not much else besides my sword, which, in all honesty, is probably deep at the bottom of the ocean by now. We were a nimble ship. We carried supplies for our voyage, but not much in terms of goods or wealth. In fact, the only thing of value that we had were the civilians on the ship. We were planning to take them back from the Sword Coast to our homeland.
We can take you as far as Waterdeep if that will work for you.
That would be fine. Sure, let me put a little marker.
While they're taking some time to get people out of the water and like get them all healed up a little bit, could I just take a look at the shipwreck?
Sure.
The water and the ship's like stopped. Let's see if I can find that guy's sword or anything else that I bump into while I'm down there.
Oh, there's no way for you to find it. It's like hundreds of feet down. It's the middle of the ocean.
Can we, is it a special sword? Did he really love that sword? Is it magic?
He says it is a magic sword, yes, and it was
Okay.
important to him. But
Wow.
what is more important to him is the safety of the people that he was traveling with.
Well, Sethir whispers to Seth. Well, I say we come back later and you can have it for yourself. What do you think, Seth?
The winds blow that way, I wouldn't mind an extra sword. I can't imagine it'd be very easy to recover at the bottom of the sea. Who knows though? Stranger things have happened.
Right. So your group lets these civilians and this one elven warrior onto the ship. They are tended to by Domo, and so they are particularly well cared for. They are brought below deck, and the Sultan offers them some pretty basic amenities, blankets and pillows and things of that nature. They seem comfortable enough. Many of them are still sort of in a state of shock. They're all adults, sea elves, and they remain quiet until the next morning. So your group goes through the process of taking your long rests, one after the other. Let's break up this block into two. So who would like to take their rest in the first block, and who would like to take their rest in the second block?
I could take it in a second.
I'll do the second too.
I could do the. Oh. I guess I'll do the first.
So you're
I'll do
doing
the first as well.
Bianca, Nina is in the first. Sif, you're in the first? Second? Okay, so Sif, here, and how about Domo?
The first, I guess.
Domo, okay. So, for the first part of the evening, your group is up and about on the top level of the ship, while Sif and Zathir get their rest in the belly of the ship.
Could I have asked the other crew another question?
course.
I guess Sethir was interested in knowing where they were heading to.
They were heading to the location of their homeland, which is a place called
Okay.
Tyr. I think it's Tyr Foy Thoin. South of the Moonshae Isles. So it's all the way down. Where is it? I'm not seeing it on the map.
Thank you.
Let me see. Let me pull up the completed map that has all the information on it. 1 second.
So elves are just Irish then, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's pronounced Shoin or Thoin. Here we go.
It's like Heen.
Heen.
Tear for Heen.
Oh wow, it's like so small you don't even know it's there.
It is an ancient sea elf city. That is, and they tell you a little bit about this if you ask. South of the Moonshaes, there's a forest made of kelp. And deep within this forest is this ancient sea elven city called Tirfoy Theen, or the land beneath the waves. It is a ruined elven city, and it has fallen out of grace over the last few centuries. There were these long wars between the sea elves and the Sahuagin, and the elves were eventually defeated. But in recent years, elves have been moving back to repopulate this place, and as well as rediscover the secrets of their culture. It is said that the ancestors of the elves still guard the temple as stewards of the sea, monks who train tirelessly to understand the currents and the waves of the ocean.
Sound like good navigators.
Quite the way from home.
They say for us, with all, if everything goes well, it will become our new home. So the journey was worth it. Even the risk that we took and the lives that were lost. I hate to say it, but they were lost in service of the cause of the Sea Elves. And for that, they will be remembered forever. The people nod sagely.
Vigilance.
Indifference.
All right, so your group, so Sif and Zathir, you're hanging out in the lower decks, sleeping relatively close to the people that are resting here, while upstairs, Domo, Chimera, and Kai are taking the first night's watch. What do the three of you do? What do you talk about to pass the time?
I think I guess before I'm going up for the watch, like I stayed up a little bit longer with the people that I was treating, and just making small talk, basic like doctor conversation with them, but also seeing if and trying to listen to what any of them were talking about with each other, see if anything stands out about, like, you know, I'll try to make some conversation. It's like, what were you doing before you got on that on this voyage, and how are you feeling now? You know.
Sure. Yeah, you get generally once the shock. Actually, no. Very first thing, give me a persuasion check. DC 5. Okay. So your bedside manner is pretty strong in this moment. They seem calmed by your presence, and they appreciate all the help that you've done for them. And they begin to open up to you a little bit. They tell you a lot of the same things that they told to Zathir when asked about their homeland and what they were doing on their journey. That many of them were excited to go back to this what is in their culture, the Holy Land, but they know that this is all part of some greater part of the plan of all of the various sea gods throughout the multiverse.
And of the lost, was there any among them that uh, uh, I guess you respected greatly, or uh, what any among you that stood out?
They mention names of several people, elderly people who in their culture would be like soothsayers or wise sages.
I I will say a prayer in my own way for the names that you give me.
Okay, go ahead and take a point of inspiration as you say these prayers. What about Chimera? What are you doing during all this?
During all this, I assume I'm like just getting acquainted with it and like catching up on
You're
law.
you're kind of breaking up a little bit. I can't hear you.
Oh, um, how about now?
That's better.
You sounded fine from my side.
It was like, for me, it was just she would speak for a couple seconds and then it would stop.
Oh, maybe it's my mindset.
And it's still happening a little bit.
Maybe Discord's being weird because it's happening to me too.
It,
And I don't
it
usually
could be
have
Discord
problems.
if it's
No, I
happening to
have
multiple
it.
people.
How about now?
That does seem better.
How about now?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, yeah, that was my mic settings. I bump up the sensitivity sometimes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Also, it's getting late, so I'm probably like getting eepy. So I would say like Chimera is basically like just getting reacquainted and catching up with like everything that's happened between like losing her memory, coming back to the material plane, and then getting the ship at the whalebones. She's probably catching up with Scuttles. Um just cuz she recalls like speaking with him a little bit, and she probably like sees all these sea elves like boarding the ship, and she's kind of just like on guard a little bit.
Scuttles mentions he's also not pleased that they have been led onto the ship. He says perhaps while they're sleeping, we could kill them and eat their innards.
Why don't you trust
Oh
them,
boy.
Scuttles?
What was that?
Oh,
I just said, "Oh boy."
No.
Sorry.
No. What did Bianca say?
I was gonna jump in as if he was like talking to me and say, why don't you trust them?
He looks at you and says, doesn't it seem suspicious that they were on the water for so long and survived? They must be up to no good.
You're right.
Perhaps we should kill
And-
them before they kill us. And he pulls out his trident.
I go and I like kind of like put the trident back wherever he got it from. Like you ever see like someone stand up and then you put your hand on their shoulder and like sit them back down? I'm kind of like doing that to the trident, and I'm like, hold on a minute. Let's sit and think about this. And Chimera kind of like reflects on when we went to Waterdeep, and there were Sahuagins pretending to be sea elves. Like, wasn't that a thing?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I guess like being with oh man, I forgot his name already. The guy from the Plane of Fire.
Wait,
Uh,
Lynx. Lix.
Lex, yeah.
I guess like reflecting on Chimera's experience with Lix and identifying the Sahuagin pretending to be a sea elf. I know they had a specific name. It was something with an M, right?
Malenti.
A Malenti. Um I go and I share with Scuttles, like, do you think these people could be Malenti? Do you know what a Malenti is?
He looks at you, and he's got no emotion to his face, right? It's just bug eyes, and he looks at you dead in the face and says, "I don't know what they are, but I'm going to guess they are absolutely Malenti."
I like the way you think, Scuttles. We're gonna be great friends.
His antennae twitch a little bit. He pulls out his trident again, slowly this time.
I put it back.
Eh.
Like, no, wait, Scuttles, we gotta be smart about this. And I guess Chimera will reflect and think, like, I mean, we're kind of stuck on this ship, but I guess, like, try to figure out what's the best thing she could do to study so that she could identify a Malenti. Probably, like, reflecting and thinking back on, like, what the Malenti we did see have that might make him discernible from, like, a sea elf, and kind of like just things like that. Yeah.
So you think back to everything you know about Malenti, and the hardest part about them is that they are in all ways physically identical to sea elves. And so the only way that you would be able to really tell is either psychically, or through some kind of interrogation, or forcing the answer out of them.
Need like that zone of truth thing.
I guess investigation wise, I guess like, would I know, like, probably not, but if there's any way that I could find out what the lifestyle differences between the Sahuagin and a sea elf would be. I assume Sahuagin are a lot more like, yeah, they pretend to be civil if they were Malenti, but like, wouldn't they be like a little bit more like Neanderthalic based off of our experiences with them?
That's what makes them so so scary to sea elves. They blend into society perfectly. For all intents and purposes, they are sea elves, but they have
Well,
this,
we met got married.
they have this dark devotion to the whatever force it is that controls the Sahuagin.
Okay. Well, I guess that'll leave Chimera pondering.
Okay.
I think that'll take up enough time.
So Chimera's pondering that. What is Kai up to? She's up on top of the ship.
I think Kai is just in awe of the ship. Like she's never been on something this fast. So I think she's like looking around and observing the ship. She's kind of like keeping an ear out. Everybody's what they're talking about. So she kind of overhears like Chimera and Scuttles. So now she's like, oh shit, like gotta keep an eye on them too. Like if they're gonna start something.
Give me a perception.
But yeah, I think she's just more like, okay.
A perception test. DC 30.
DC 30.
The fuck?
Damn.
Why would you even ask for that?
All right,
Yeah,
so you're.
what? How would I ever get a DC 30?
Oh well, we'll see what happens.
What? I
All right.
feel like I'm being pranked right now.
And go look out your window.
Automatic
Yeah.
fail.
What?
Okay.
Guidance?
Yeah, but like guidance from God, you know?
Domo comes out of nowhere.
Throws a monocle from across the ship.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Holy grail.
So yeah, you're running your fingers along the incredible craftsmanship of this wood. You're just admiring it. Something about it feels very familiar to you. You can't quite put your finger on it, and you feel at home. You feel like an elegant balance when you're standing on the ship that none of the other people do. When it lurched forward, you of all people had this like very sturdy footing, and initially you kind of put it to your many years at sea, but it was, I don't know, you feel like at ease here.
Yeah, I would say so. At ease is a good way of putting it.
All right, so the first shift ends. The group that was taking their time to rest come up to the upper deck of the ship and begin their turn to man the watch, while the other three, Domo, Chimera, and Kai, both head down below deck in order to get some rest and relaxation. During that time, what does Sif and Zathir get up to?
The sea elves are sleeping downstairs.
Yes.
First thing I'm gonna do is summon my dog and just have my dog sit outside the room all night.
Sure.
Just keep an eye on them. In case anyone tries to leave the room or something, they'll just let me know.
Sure. You summon your dog. Your dog rests, laying down on the ground. It's four legs crossed, with its head resting on its wrists, seemingly sleeping, but also kind of keeping one eye open.
Clever dog. I'll be sitting with Zathir then.
What do you guys do? Do you talk about anything? What do you do to pass the time?
So the other folks on the ship, they're sea elves, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So Zathir, what's next for you here? We're heading back to Waterdeep. What's the thing that's most on your mind for what we need to do next?
Well, I don't know if you noticed, my skin is deteriorating.
Yes, I
I
have.
need.
To be fair, to be honest, rather, I have not noticed that at all. You've done a very good job of hiding it. I'm assuming you're used to doing that, but now that you pointed it out, it does seem like you have quite an affliction there.
Yes, quite right. I do spend my time in shadows quite often. Well,
What's next? And that seems like the thing you'd want to tackle first, but do you think finding your family will get that done for you, or
see, the problem is, all you guys have saved my life numerous amount of times throughout these expeditions we've been on. I feel I need to repay it back. So,
I wouldn't sell
kind
yourself
of,
too short. There's flashy ways to save people's lives and more simple ways, or not simple, but slower ways. And honestly, if you hadn't been here, I don't know if we'd ever got this ship moving. Not, most of us are not good at what you seem to be good at. So as with everything else, we're a group and we augment each other's weaknesses, and you're doing a great job of that.
I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be shellfish, if you know what I mean.
I'm just a little crab.
It's not all about me. If you guys see it, I'll take it to where I need to go. I need to go Neverwinter, and I also need to go to Baldur's Gate.
Oh yeah, same for me. Neverwinter is not on my list, but Baldur's Gate is very important. I need to figure out what's going on. I mean, they're all heading south to the Cloakwood. My people don't talk to outsiders that often. If a delegation's traveling there, that's something big. With that being said, we're traveling around the world and trying to stop some pretty terrible things from happening, and you seem to be deteriorating right in front of us. So I wouldn't put yourself as number 2 on that. Do you know how far this has progressed? Is it getting worse? Do you feel like you have time to wait, or is it just, how do you feel?
You know, I really don't know. Considering the curse has been somewhat of a blessing to me. It's helped me numerous amount of times. It's almost been my livelihood. Well, now all this is happening, and now I'm really considering if it's a curse or not.
I think it seems like a two-edged sword. You have been given something great, and you have been wounded by something great. I hope
You
if we
know,
fix whatever's wrong with you, it doesn't get rid of the other part of it, but are you okay if it does?
I have pondered whether or not, if I ride this out, would I become mutated in some way? Have special powers as I do now? What if I become even more powerful? Then I'd be even a better asset to my friends.
What if that power turns you into something else? The thing that was chasing after you and took you didn't seem like it was on your side, and it seemed of the power you carry.
Right. From what they said, I don't believe it's quite the same. It seems they could grab memories from anyone at any moment. Meanwhile, I can only grab the dead's memory.
Well, it's powerful nonetheless. I can make the same promise to you that I've made to friends in the past, which is I will protect you as much as I can protect you, and if it comes to the worst and you do turn and become something else, I will do you the mercy of putting you down.
Zathir puts his hand out to kind of give him one of those close handshake hugs or
Like
whatever.
an arm handshake.
Yeah. Indeed, my friend.
That is a
Indeed.
sincere promise. But until then, we are partners.
All right.
Well, I never thought you'd be the one to kill me.
I would be honored. At any time you want. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
All right. So the group of you, they all take your long rests. You wake up the next morning, and
Oh, I didn't get inspiration from that?
you already have inspiration.
I don't know. We get it automatically at the end of the session?
No.
I think the character sheet just doesn't, keeps adding it back to me.
Well, for some reason, you're in light mode.
I don't know what that means.
It,
You
it
mean, like,
wasn't.
the UI?
It wasn't worthy of an
Yeah, fuck you, Evan.
You know what? I'm looking at your character sheet. I don't know where the inspiration is.
Don't know.
I think your character sheet got.
This is the only one that
Which-
works for pop-out, so I'm using
Which
this one.
character she is using?
Oh,
The
does
second one.
does Tidy 5e character sheet not work?
Doesn't work for pop-out. Just Legacy 5e works for pop-out.
Gotcha. So maybe it doesn't have a place for inspiration. I'm not seeing it. Oh no, you do have inspiration. It's on the attributes page. It's underneath death saves and exhaustion.
Cool.
It's kind of hidden. But yeah, you already had a point. All right. So the ship continues moving, but why don't we take a 5-minute break? Come back at 9:35.
Sweet.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'm back. Let's see what this website says. How do you pronounce this weird Gaelic word?
Phi hình. Phi hình.
Phi hình.
Phi hình.
Fiheen.
Phi hình. Phi hình.
Phi hình.
Faheen. Turfaheen.
Yo.
You.
Anyone watching the debates right now?
Nick is watching them in the opposite monitor. I'm too busy with House of the Dragon.
Wait a minute, House of the Dragon. You're supposed to be with D&D right now.
I'm not watching it now. I'm just saying House of the Dragon is more entertaining than politics in general.
Gotcha.
Talk about the debate.
Yeah. Are you watching that?
Hell no. The two 80-year-olds screaming at each other.
They're
Yeah,
not even
it's
screaming, they're just mumbling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It'd be an
mumbling
improved.
and partially going to sleep. It's kind of sad, actually. Why is there no other candidates but these two assholes?
I don't know.
Money.
Yeah, it's like insane kind of. They couldn't find anybody else to run.
Money.
Money.
That's all it is. The debate.
The bot.
It's one of the best tweets that has ever existed.
It's like Kofifi. I saw some streamer named Kofifi the other day. I'm like, wow, he just really ran with that.
Yeah, I think I saw them, like, they were fed to me on the Twitch main page.
Wait, is that real? The debate?
Yeah, that was
The
a
debate.
real tweet.
Are you fucking serious?
I just fat fingered it.
By the infamous Rudy Giuliani, nonetheless.
Isn't he in jail now or something?
I hope he is.
Man, fuck politics. This is annoying.
I'm looking through some people I follow, and the first thing I see is, uh-oh, Biden sounds like absolute death.
Good.
And then the next response is, we're so cooked.
Yeah. Katie's watching it now, and I'm like, oh, he looks like a walking corpse.
Yikes.
Yikes. Anyway, Nina, I need you to hit that button.
Sorry, I was so distracted by the Discord channel.
The
Debate.
Debate.
The butt.
And I discovered that it's pronounced
Fehine.
Fehine. So Tur Fehine. All right, so the ship continues moving forward with Kai at the helm. Kai, go ahead and give me a... What is its skill again? Is that navigate? A survival. Give me a survival test. It's a DC 10.
I am just rolling like shit today.
Boy.
I guess I can use my point of inspiration to reroll, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, maybe I'll reroll on that. That was awful.
And because you have guidance, you can add a 1d4 to that. All right.
Nice.
You just made it. So you continue skirting forward. The weather is clear, cold, and a little bit windy, but your ship cares not for wind. That's the other benefit of this ship. If there is no wind, you gain no benefit, or you suffer no penalty. But similarly, you gain no bonus if there is heavy wind in your favor. You move forward, and during the voyage, your crew is obviously taking turns, keeping watch, making sure that you are traveling in safety. Some of the people, I would say most of the people are staying down in the lower decks, both for warmth and for safety. You know, they're sleeping a very long time. You don't know how long they were stuck outside. But the warrior who had spoken to you when you first discovered the ship, he does come up to the top, still wearing his mithril chainmail, though he has seemingly washed himself overnight and fixed his hair, so he looks, at the very least, somewhat presentable. He stands with a pretty fixed stance on the ship itself. And he walks over to Kai and acknowledges her. Have you discovered anything about your father? I recall when we last spoke, you had mentioned him.
I met somebody else who had some information on him, but nothing too specific about his whereabouts.
Well, I'm sure you'll find him. Perhaps, and it might be a big ask, but should you ever find yourself down south past the Boonshay Isles, you might take a stop over at... Hold on, how do you pronounce it again?
Fehine.
Turfahine. Maybe your father took a stop there. I heard he was an adventurer and a sea elf. I imagine it was of some interest to him, at the very least.
Have you been down that way yourself?
I have not. This would have been my first voyage carrying civilians to that location.
So you were headed down there.
Yes.
Funny that it was your first voyage to go south, and that's when you got hit.
Do you think there's some kind of connection?
I mean, if this is a point of interest, then maybe. Like if there's something that the pirates want down there that they would prevent other people from traveling.
Perhaps. It's very difficult sometimes to map the actions and reasoning behind the actions of pirates. Especially one so cruel as Captain Callus. He's been a plague to these waters for quite some time. I can only hope one day to, after gaining command of a new ship, find him myself and bring him to justice.
True, but maybe you had more than like physical things to offer, like you knew too much about something. That's why he had to get rid of the ship.
I'm not sure what it is that we could have known. Of course, we carried with us several elven elders. Immensely old, immensely wise, but what they knew seemingly offered very little to pirates. Perhaps there is something I am missing. The ship continues moving forward, and it skirts through another 5 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, moving in a record-breaking pace. About halfway through your journey, off in the distance, you can see what looks to be a rather large merchant vessel. Heading to the north. It bears a flag of Baldur's Gate. What?
Ooh, fun.
What do you do?
Would I recognize anyone on the ship? Like, are we close enough that if I hopped in the crow's nest or something, I'd be able to see anyone on board specifically?
So this ship has no crow's nest, but if you choose to hail them and bring your ship closer to theirs, you will definitely be able to get a good look at the people there. You are, however, aware of merchants who travel from Baldur's Gate, so there is some possibility that you have some connection to them.
Would you guys be okay if I hailed them?
Sure, maybe they have information.
Yeah. I'll go over to Kai and let her know that I'd like to hail the ship.
All right.
Driving it.
Okay. So just give me 1 second. Pulling up some information. Bear with me. Okay. So you hail them, and your ship pulls up close and again slows down to a sort of crawl. You have the two ships sort of moving apace one another. The leader of the merchants, a haughty, incredibly rich spice merchant, who, Chimera, you have some vague recollection of. This is an immensely rich man who you remember being a bit too arrogant and long-winded for your taste. He is in comparison to your family, new money, but despite the limited amount of time he has spent in trade, he has made an incredible fortune, one that nearly rivals your own. And you can see that he has already begun in his short human lifespan, making moves within the courts of Neverwinter. I'm sorry, of Baldur's Gate, and is vying for a position on the Council of Four, the same position that your father is vying for.
Ooh, interesting.
And he says to you in very heavily accented common, to the whole group. He doesn't quite recall Chimera specifically. What a marvelous ship! I have never seen such a vessel. And the way it glides across the water, so elegant. I bet you can make it all the way from Waterdeep to Neverwinter in half the time of this vessel. How much is your ship? I must have it.
Not for sale.
Oh, everything has a price, I'm sure. We can come to some kind of understanding.
Afraid the ship has to remain where it
Absolutely not.
is. But you are correct in a way. This ship is very fast, and if there are any opportunities you might want to get involved with that involves a fast ship, let us know.
Oh, I must say I will not do any business as such out here at sea. Who's to say you won't simply make off with whatever wares or gold I hand to you? But if you would make your way down to Baldur's Gate, you can speak with my associates. My company deals with all manners of trade goods, primarily spices, but other things as well. If you would like, perhaps you can put your vessel up to work underneath us. Transport goods from one location to another. A ship with this incredible speed could make quite a pretty penny.
I think if our interests align, given a certain situation, that could be very profitable for everybody involved.
He smiles, and you can see he has like a row of golden capped teeth.
So in the spirit of this potential new partnership, a side issue, or side question I have for you, we have a separate ship, slower ship, regular ship, that is going to be making a trip from Waterdeep up north, past Neverwinter, along the coast and all the cities. Any idea what they want more than anybody else, and a way that we could get something cheap from Waterdeep and sell it for a lot in up north?
Well, I don't give too much advice for free. A man in my position hasn't made my way here through charity, I'm sure you understand. But I will tell you this. Up north, they have great need, or they do carry a great supply of a particular substance known as scrimshaw. I'm sure you've heard of it. They use it to craft all manner of goods.
Like there's so much scrimshaw in Sif's pockets. He's just like whittling these little whistles for so long. He's still not very good at it, but he has been trying.
The strongest and most beautiful scrimshaw comes from the north. The great city of Luskan has a great deal of it. This is what I used to gain my first fortune.
You use scrimshaw.
I carried it all over the world, all the way from Luskan deep into Kalimshan.
What use was it? We've come across scrimshaw here and there, but as far as you know, it's just tossed off things that they're using for whatever they can manage to use it for. It didn't seem like an important item.
He gives you he walks you through the process, what they use it for. It's primarily wealthy people's goods, jewelry, art, like cutlery, ornamentation, things of that nature. And then he says that he moved on eventually from that into like spices and other things, and that's where he made his second, third, and fourth fortunes. Chimera, you remember this man's name is Alaric Goldvein. Although you remember when he had his original last name, Mudpile.
Epic.
Did he marry?
Oh no, he simply changed it.
Oh. Hmm. I guess I'll jump in and ask. Have you been to Boulder's Gate recently?
You're coming from there, in fact.
How are things in the city currently?
Ooh. Well, I dare say that the city is in a bit of trouble. You see, in recent days we have been attacked by a great swarm of pirates. The defenses of the city were strong enough to hold them off, but they did considerable damage. And, if rumors are true, the pirates are gearing up for another secondary assault. We were hoping for assistance from other neighboring cities, Waterdeep and Neverwinter, but it appears that they have been attacked as well.
We just witnessed resources depart from Waterdeep to make way towards Boulder's Gate. But if you guys have already been attacked by pirates, hopefully they make it before the next wave of them.
Were people stolen from the city as part of the attack?
As
Taken into the water?
a matter of fact, they were.
We had a similar attack happen at Waterdeep, and we were there and able to stop it, but it seemed like at least part of the attack was a distraction for some other thing they wanted to do in the city. Besides the attack itself, has there anything been stolen? Anybody gone missing of import?
So 1 second. While I look up.
They take.
Just 1 second.
Kind of a cool idea. I mean, we can only be in one place at a time. We have 3 attacks on 3 different cities. Like, we'll maybe stop one of them. But probably not 3 of them.
Unless we warn all 3 areas.
Well, now that we have more ships, that could end up being a possibility. We can kind of
We
be
could
in multiple
send a
places
bird.
at once.
Send a note.
I'm pretty
Are you under
surprised
arrest?
how quickly the next attack happened.
I think it was simultaneous because they had those 3 dots. I bet they all happened at the same time.
Yeah.
So he gives you this information that the city was attacked by a small contingent of Sahuagin, but then primarily the most damage was done by 3 large ships crewed by strange twisted humanoids. And that unfortunately a very powerful figure in Baldur's Gate was kidnapped. He is presumed dead, but regardless, they have sent parties to go and seek him out.
Any information about who that
Who
was?
captured?
Ramazith Flameseeker.
Why does that name ring a bell?
Ramazith, you say? So he's dead. How?
Oh. Oh, it is believed he is dead. He has been captured. His tower was attacked when the pirates launched their assault on Baldur's Gate. He has been missing ever since, at least according to my sources. I was not there. I was in Arlumbor, actually. But I have...
Sorry, where did he say?
Orlumbor.
Oh.
So pirates came to kidnap Ramazith. We're gonna have to go to Baldur's Gate to get more information.
Yeah, just like at Waterdeep, they had an attack, and then in the meantime took what they really were looking for. But now I want to I want to figure out what happened in Neverwinter. I bet something similar happened.
That cube of yours, you still have it?
I'm talking to who?
I think Kai has it.
Yeah, I have the cube.
Mind if
What
I
about
take a
it?
look? Mind if I take a look at it?
Please be careful. And then I hand him the cube.
Zethir is just gonna like study it for a little while.
It's a strange 1 inch by 1 inch cube by 1 inch, and very similar to a die. Only it doesn't have numbers on the faces. It has like strange arcane symbols, and inside of those faces are like little buttons that you can press. You click. There is a large crack running down the length of the cube. It hasn't broken apart. It still feels solid, but it seems like something's wrong. Like it just doesn't want to turn on. You press the buttons and nothing happens.
Does Zethir recognize this as one of the artifacts that belong to like
It is one of those three. It's a cube of force,
Matmaraz?
I think. Like
Cube of
Hakmaraz
Force.
confirmed it, I think.
Right. Okay.
But he said Ramazeth can fix it, and they just stole Ramazeth.
Oh yeah. Well, we're definitely gonna have to figure out this mystery. What pirates would want him?
I mean, did we ever really get to the bottom of why they're taking so many people? I don't think we ever. I don't remember if we ever actually found a reason, but why they're on taking people who are then being put in front of some like shield or something like that, examined and then decided yes or no. They're being used for something. Maybe we can get more information when we head down to Baldur's Gate.
Absolutely. Now, what if a storm never really took down the ship, the golden, the golden ship? What if it was pirates that took them down? The same pirates that tried to kidnap Ramesith. Maybe they know about the artifacts.
Or even worse, what if
Let's
they
hope
have
not.
one?
Yeah.
All right. So the merchant, he says to you that, well, time is money, and if you're not going to sell me your ship, well, I must continue pressing on. Farewell to you.
Out of curiosity, where are you heading? Just up the coast in general.
I am heading up towards Neverwinter. They are in need of supplies that I carry, spices and whatnot.
Well, here's an offer for you. The seas have been dangerous. We just passed a shipwreck of the 47 people on board. Only 5 are left. I know your ship is large and looks formidable, but with the way the seas are going, who knows how much protection you can really have. We can offer you an escort of 2 ships. We also need to head north for a different reason, and 3 ships is stronger than 1 ship. If you accompany us to Waterdeep and let us have our ships accompany you, we would only ask for a small cut of the profit
Well, I
to
can
ensure
assure
your
you.
safety.
He looks at you and says, actually, you know what? Give me a persuasion test. DC 20.
Do I have guidance?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do inspiration. That'd be kind of neat.
Oh, so close.
Is Chimera there?
Could I help?
I am here.
When
Yeah,
when
there's no
Chimera
there's
and
no
I are together,
assistance
we get a
here.
+1.
That's true.
Oh wait,
She did open up the conversation with this person.
she did. What was that rule? Do you remember what the rule was exactly?
When we help each other, we
Oh.
get a +1.
It's besties for life.
Okay.
I completely forgot about that. I could have used that like 7 different times. Like,
That's true because you two have a bond, and because you two did engage in this conversation with him, I'll say that does put you over the edge and give you the DC 20.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
strokes his long mustachio and says, extra defenses on the water do sound reasonable.
These are uncertain times.
Very well. We shall make our way to Waterdeep.
I think they will unfortunately slow us down because we have to go with them, but
Yes.
we're pretty close.
So
I think.
their ship moves at a pace of 3 hexes per day.
We're just adding like a little over a day to our trip back.
Yeah, it'll add 1, 2, 3. It'll add 1, 2. Instead of taking 2 days, it'll take you 3.
Okay.
All right. So
Is it cool with everybody if we? Because I think it's a good idea to make a good way to make some money. We don't have to find goods to sell; they already have them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the group of you continue forward for another day. Why don't we call it there?
Okay.
And
This whole session we went from here to here, so it is 240 miles. A little more than that.
and then when you get to Waterdeep, you can arrange. I'll say you already did the check, so there's no more checks related for that. But you can definitely arrange for passage with your 2 ships. We'll come up with a price for that. That makes sense. And yeah. Well, I hope you all avoid the debate as much as you humanly can. I'm sure it's horrible.
I'll avoid it for the day, and then tomorrow I'll be inundated with it from all directions, probably.
Yeah,
from
most
anywhere
likely.
online.
I can't wait to lament, despair, and want to kill myself.
Yep.
God bless America.
Sounds right.
Please don't.
Don't do
Yeah.
that.
We just
Who's
want
gonna
to
do
kill
that?
ourselves. We're not gonna do
Exactly. Yeah, we're just gonna fantasize about killing ourselves.
it.
You're just like, wouldn't it be great if I was dead? You go, yeah, and then just move on with your day.
Just if you do, just take out Trump with you. You know.
That is true. I'll just put on a suicide vest.
Nothing's cooler than blowing yourself up.
Just
Okay, step 1: learn how to make a suicide vest. Step 2:
Take one
You
for
just
the
start
team.
take
start
one for the
Googling it.
team.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
we're all on lists already from
Oh yeah,
just
this is
mentioning
true.
that in voice chat.
We are talking about this in a voice chat.
I think this
Yeah.
was owned by Microsoft or something, so they're in the pocket.
Yeah.
Is the
Whoops.
stream still being recorded?
Oh no.
yeah. Now they know your thoughts of
No,
suicide.
we're